Hey guys, so we have what is probably going to be a pretty emotional week before us. All week we are sort of caught up in these emotional undercurrents represented by a grand trine and water signs that is playing out between several significant planets, and this is indicating some type of release on an emotional level, perhaps of some long withheld, repressed, restrained, pent up emotions related to the past. Maybe childhood, things regarding the homes, things regarding the family, but this is translating into actually some type of like karmic cleansing or purification happening on an emotional level that is going on this week. Now, also to start this week, we have a very dynamic square playing out in the sky and fixed signs between Mars and Uranus. This is like electrifying, sort of explosive. This is like radical rebellion, dynamic change, a sudden need to break free from things. This could also represent sort of like sudden upsets coming through that are like disrupting things and turning things upside down, and people may be acting a bit strange this week, especially early in the week. Another thing that we've got going on, another dimension of the energy this week, is an exact conjunction in the sky between Venus and the black moon in the sign of Leo. This is both sides of the feminine coming together. This is also happening in an exact trine to Chiron in Aries. What are we reevaluating about our values, our priorities, our desires, and our relationships right now in the context of where our heart has been wounded in the past and what we need to do to heal ourselves on a heart and soul based level? This is sort of like what everything is boiling down to this week. A lot of energy to talk about, you guys. Let's get into our report of the day. Let's look at this energy in a little bit more detail and see how things may perhaps be playing out for us as we move through this energy to start our week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, June 26, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. What we are doing on this channel is we are looking at the energy as it's coming through on a daily basis, what it might be indicating for us, and more importantly, the subtle changes it may be activating within us that over time will lead us through this journey of conscious awakening that is represented by our transition and shift into the age of Aquarius right now. So we're looking at the energy on the microcosm in the context of the macrocosm as we go through this shift of ages. So let's talk about the energy of the day, the energy that we have going on to open our week this week, and a bit about the energy this week generally. A cleansing of the emotional body. There is this karmic cleansing, karmic purification that is being represented in the energy this week. If you guys, have been following my channel for, a period of time, we've been talking about this karmic detox process that has been ongoing the past year and a half, okay? That has been represented by the transits of the nodes of the moon through North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio. This has been an energy that has been helping us to detach from anything toxic in our life, essentially, that has had power over us and that has kept us blind to the truth of our own potential and our own ability to be self-empowered and to be resourceful and to be self-reliant and to really like build and grow in and of our own internal resources, in and of our own internal talents, gifts, and potential. The North Node transiting through the sign of Taurus throughout this past year and a half, especially with Uranus and Taurus as well, has really been trying to awaken us to the truth of our value, to what we truly value, to what we truly desire, to who we are on those deeper levels, and what the nature truly is of our inner resources and what we can build, what we can grow with them, what we're feeling sort of called and compelled to work towards at this period of time. It's also been kind of helping us to shift and reprioritize our goals and what we want to create for ourselves from this more consciously awakened place of, the truth of what it is we really value, what it is that we really desire, and what we are coming to discover we are truly capable of. So this Uranus transit through the sign of Taurus has been and is a 7-year process, okay, of awakening to those deeper truths in regard to our own value, in regard to our own potential, in regards to our own authenticity also, and how we can use that to create something that's unique and original, but also serves the greater good somehow and provides some level of comfort or stability or abundance, these Taurus themes. Now with the North Node there, this is also, a necessary part of that process is this phase of growth that we've been going through in alignment with those same themes, in alignment with rediscovering the inherent power that comes through our creative potential, and through the recognition of that value or of that power or of that beauty or of that gift or of that potential or of that desire, even what we can detach ourselves from that has been blocking our ability to go or grow in that direction. So this is a cycle, a 1.5-year cycle transit of the nodes of the moon that has a lot to do and has had a lot to do with getting back in authentic alignment with our true selves in a way that helps us to create, okay, and to build along those lines. Taurus is the sign of the builder. It's a very creative sign. It's ruled by Venus, but Venus also really loves to like indulge in the splendors, okay, of what has been manifested or what has been created or what has been produced. It's a sign of the builder, but it's also the sign of getting to really enjoy the fruits of one's labors, okay? And the South Node, of course, in the sign of Scorpio, the South Node, it represents karma, and it's the past, and it's what we need to detach and release ourselves from. In the sign of Scorpio, this is anything that has had like a deeply psychological hold on us, any type of addiction or any type of self-sabotaging behavior, anywhere, you know, where we had been surrendering our power out of any sense of that lack internally, that the North Node and Uranus and Taurus have been trying to open our eyes to the true wealth that we hold inside, and recognizing that value in the form of, you know, resources and potential and ability that only needs to be tapped and cultivated. So this has been a process this past 1.5 years of karmic detox, okay, breaking generational cycles, being released from karmic self-sabotaging patterns rooted in these psychological intertwinements with that which may have been stealing our power or blocking us from being able to see that authentic value, that authentic potential, and that authentic truth. Not anymore. And okay, the reason why I'm talking about that, the reason why I just did this whole narration, okay, of the karmic detox, the nodal transits through Taurus and Scorpio, is because this process is near complete. We right now have the North and the South nodes, which always transit backwards through the zodiac at 2 degrees of the sign of Taurus and Scorpio. 1 more degree, you guys, and we're gonna be done with this process. They're gonna be backing up, transiting into Aries and Libra, and we will begin another 1.5 year lesson plan in terms of what we need to learn and grow into and become now, and what we need to release, move on from, free ourselves from, in order to gain this new insight and awareness that the North Node, this next phase of evolution, this next phase of growth, destiny, all keywords associated with the North Node, are trying to bring to us. So today and this week, you guys, in the context, right, of this overall like unfolding situation that we have going on, that is leading us into the age of Aquarius, that is day by day evolving us into the person and the frequency that is in alignment with this new age of Aquarius incoming paradigm, which is the age of self-mastery. This is the age of self-enlightenment. This is the age of ultimately a much greater ability to co-create our experiences from a conscious plane in alignment with the divine vision, God, spirit, universe. So that being said, this week, as we have these alignments coming into play, these grand trine and water sign activations that are featuring the South Node in the sign of Scorpio, Saturn in the sign of Pisces, we're going to have the Sun, Mercury, and the Moon, these very personalized planets, also wrapped up in this grand trine this week. We are really wrapping up this karmic detox process, and we are really probably going to find ourselves finally clearing something that has been weighing heavy on us for a long period of time, that has been, you know, maybe that we've been fearful of, that has been holding us back, that has been making us feel trapped in some type of way. It may be bringing up some very powerful emotions. Okay, people could just be like spontaneously breaking down and crying crying this week. People could really just be in their emotions. People could be having a hard time coping with things. But it is, again, like we are in the very last phases of this karmic detox process, and there is just this massive emotional release. Like I said, it's like these pent up, blocked, even like held back, restrained, overly controlled emotions that we may have been dealing with literally since like childhood, or for like years and years and years, finally coming to a point where we just can't hold them in anymore, and they're just sort of like flooding out, and all this water trine energy like spilling out, just tidal waves of emotions coming through. But again, it is this purification also, and it is this soul cleansing. We're going to have Mercury, we're going to have the sun in the sign of Cancer. So much of the energy this week has to do with, you know, really getting right with ourselves on this soul level, and really going through some processes that are kind of maybe cathartic and just are really hitting on that soul-based level. And Venus also coming into the alignment with the black moon exactly simultaneously in the sign to Chiron as well. This is showing us what has blackened our heart, okay? Where we've been out of balance in regards to our own heart center in the sign of Leo also. And this, because of the Chiron element, because of the Leo element, is also likely stemming back to like childhood issues, childhood trauma, inner child wounding, inner child issues, figuring out, reevaluating our relationships, our values, our priorities, our desires in the context of what we need to really heal ourselves on this heart and soul based level moving forward. There's also a very strong manifestation energy going on this week. The sun is going to come into exact trine with Saturn. That's one of the best energies for like for really like getting the nose to the grindstone and like making some true progress towards manifesting our goals. Like anywhere that we can be very focused on the future and on what we want to create and on what we want to build, and you know, leaving the past in the past once and for all. This is laying some really beautiful foundations that are likely to be very successful, very fruitful, very enduring, very long lasting moving forward. This is the energy where we are laying the new legacies that are going to carry on, you know, perhaps even generations into the future, as we are cutting the ties and cutting the cords between this generational karma that has brought us to this point and ourselves, okay? And the inner alchemization, the transmutation, and the transformations that we're going through now as we come to these greater states of internalized awakening and awareness, and reacquaint to, you know, the true like needs of our heart and our soul, and where we have been wounded maybe originally, and perhaps how we got off track, or how we started operating maybe out of some subconscious programming, or just some limiting mindsets and beliefs, okay? Also with Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces right now, like where have we been sabotaging ourselves through our own limiting beliefs, and really reconsidering what truly is and what truly isn't possible for us right now. We need to have a lot of hope for the future. This could be a painful week, okay? It could be bringing up a lot of past memories that we sort of are going through. There could be just situations from the past that are coming back. And all summer, actually, also with Venus and Mercury, they're both going to be going retrograde as we get through this summer. And this is going to be a summer also of people coming back, like past relationships and past interpersonal dynamics and stuff like that, maybe coming up again somehow. There's going to be like a lot of past people, conversations, communications, like references as we get through the summer, coming and kind of like showing back up in our moment, like in, you know, our current situations of things. And so themes of the past, you know, are very much characterizing a lot of this year generally, and a lot of, you know, these periods of time that are playing out and that we are going through now. But I do believe that on an emotional level, in terms of maybe, like I said, some things that have been bothering us, and this could be also some issues that we have been dealing with, like the Scorpio things, okay? Fears, addictions, attachments, traumas, toxic whatever that we've been dealing with, and maybe trying to get away from, trying to release ourselves from, trying to transcend out of, trying to escape from, trying to just graduate from, you know, whatever way. Over this past year and a half, specifically, transit of the nodes through Taurus and Scorpio, like we are likely to find ourselves in a place emotionally where we are finally being released from some of these burdens as well. Now, like I said, the planets involved in this trine all week, we have Mercury, who will be entering Cancer, the sign entering the sign of Cancer tomorrow. We have an energetic shift going on this week as well, and I feel like it's going to be pretty significant because Mercury will enter the sign of Cancer, come into a building conjunction to the sun, and also activate this grand water trine, which is brought to us by 5 planets. 5 representing what? You guys talk about this all the time. 5 is a planet or a number associated with dynamic change. Reminds me a lot of the Mars-Uranus square that we are also in exact energy of today. Talked about this in my video for the weekend, and you know, we got to get back into that today. We're going to get into that more as we get through this report. I'm actually going to talk about it next, but 5 planets. So again, this is talking about like something that is happening to help us break through in some way, or to like make some type of radical dynamic change that is altering kind of like the trajectory of things going forward. It's like however we've lived our life, maybe our whole life up until this point in time, there is likely to be something changing in the energy now in terms of the way that we will be living our lives for the rest of, you know, time going forward. So very significant just adjustments, readjustments, active change, dynamic change. But anyways, the 5 planets involved in this grand water trine, we have Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. We have the Sun and Mercury coming into a conjunction in the sign of Cancer, and then we've got, of course, the South Node, Scorpio, nearing the end of this transit, but the moon will be there as well. So we're gonna have the Sun, Moon, Mercury. Our mind, right? This is like the soul, the mind, the soul, and the spirit, okay? We're talking about the mind, Mercury. We're talking about our emotions and our feelings, like the soul-based energy, right? The moon, who is, by the way, ruling Cancer, which is the position of Mercury and the sun in the conjunction to the South Node. So it's like, this could really have to do with like home, family, like I said, like childhood, how we were sort of programmed in childhood, okay? And where that's brought us to now, and coming to a point where we're realizing we need to sort of shed our old identity, and maybe like shed our old skin, or, you know, reprogram our mental frame in a way that is like radically different, perhaps maybe from like our original conditioning. These are all the type of things we're talking about, but that's what we got. We got Sun, Moon, Mercury, South Node, Saturn retrograde. So tearing down the walls, okay, that have kept us distanced from the truth of our heart, the truth of our soul. Also, you know, getting it, okay, on a very cognitive level. Awakening, awareness. And here we are now. Let's talk about Mars and Uranus in this square as we are starting our week. This is explosive, okay? Mars, this is obviously the fire planet. Uranus, this is the Lord of lightning, okay? So this is kind of just like a volatile combination, but it's also a very productive combination. This is energy where like you can't hold me down, you can't hold me back. High rebellion, active rebellion. Don't expect people to be falling in line. Don't expect people to be following the rules. Don't expect people to be like just like blindly obeying orders, okay? Expect people rather to be acting maybe like odd, a bit bizarre, kind of like out of the like ability to be restrained or controlled. This is like and it's happening, you know, the sign of Leo and Taurus. This is like the need to feel alive, okay? Anything that has been like holding us back, blocking us, restricting us. This is also people just like really needing to like have a good time to sort of like do what they're authentically feeling is like true to their heart, okay? This is like also it's just this need to be free, to have fun and to enjoy life, and anything that is like blocking that, or anything that is like holding us back, or anything that is like raining our parade, or anything that's like throwing like a wet towel or a wet blanket over our, you know, hurrah moments and our like excitement and stuff like that. Like, it's not, we're gonna find a way to like get out of that situation in this energy. Also, you know, this children, you know, try to have a bit more patience, and also keep a very good eye on kids in this energy, because there's a major child orientation because of the Leo energy and the emphasis with all of the planets there right now. Also the Cancer energy that we have going on, and Mercury about to enter the sign of Cancer. Mercury also ruling children. So in this, again, just being like it can be more of like an accident prone energy, and people can just be kind of reckless. All right. So we want to try to like keep an extra eye, like, you know, maybe have some extra breaks, like make sure we're like slowing down, and again, like having a bit more patience, because things can just get out of hand fast in this energy. This is just like, and it's also can bring just like sudden upsets and stuff, but Uranus also makes the changes, like I say, you guys, for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves. So sudden disruptions that are coming through, anything that might be happening out of nowhere, seemingly like just tipping everything upside down on its head. Like there is probably some like significant reason behind it that is actually going to end up being a positive thing somehow moving forward in some capacity. So, you know, don't expect kind of like the unexpected. This again is just it's a very like high speed. This is a super fast energy. Could be like a very busy energy. And again, like it's working. Uranus is also the planet of awakening, of like a sudden flash of awareness. Like we could also be coming to some sudden conclusions that could be like upsetting the status quo somehow, or could be causing us to like take some type of like sudden action or change something suddenly as well. This is energy that is really trying to break up the mundane, and that is really trying to kind of like spice things up and liberate us on some level in some way. So we've also got that going on. And again, this energy is very powerful, very active to start our week. It's actually exact on Monday. And it's interesting the degrees that this is happening at as well. 22 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. Both of these Sabian symbols are referencing like birds on a mission, okay? The Sabian symbol where Mars is 22 degrees of Leo, that's a carrier pigeon fulfilling its mission. And then 22 Taurus where Uranus is a large dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. So they're like, we're talking, this is birds. This is, you know, the mental realm, air, ideas, messages, messages of hope, right? We need to not lose hope despite, again, like I said, any like heavier emotions that may be coming up this week, or in the face of any disruptions that this energy may be bringing us, because there's some element of it that is trying to open our eyes to something, trying to enhance our level of awareness about something, a message that is trying to make its way to us. And, you know, the large white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. Like, we need to not have fear. We need to have confidence. We need to keep our eye on the prize. We need to keep moving forward. And that is how we can kind of like maybe like stay out of the more turbulent emotions also that may be whirling below us over troubled water. Okay, this is more that water, and we are in a week that is characterized by these undercurrents of this water energy. So like I've been saying, you know, the future focus is kind of everything this week. Yes, we are kind of being immersed and flooded by these feelings from the past, but the guidance in the situation, you know, where Uranus is awakening, and in the sign of Taurus, where the North Node is, which is where we're going. This is what we're growing into, what we're learning, you know, the destiny point. The awakenings that we're having are to help pull us out of any past emotions that may have been keeping us attached to these cycles that we're not working in our best interest, and we're not supporting our process of growth in alignment with authentic value, authentic potential, authentic resources, authentic truth at this point in time. So we've got that going on as well. And then of course, you know, thirdly, this Venus black moon conjunction this week. This is the dual nature of the feminine coming back together to rebalance itself, okay? Of all the planets that conjunct the black moon, which rules our shadow side issues, okay? The black moon is our subconscious fears and those subconscious programming that a lot of times is the result, okay, of these childhood wounds or of this unhealed trauma within us, and that keeps us subconsciously acting and responding to things in a way that essentially blinds us to the truth of our power, to the truth of our value, and distorts the way that we are using our feminine energy and our emotional energy. And as a result of that, tends to have a very significant power and level of power over the things that play out in our lives, because it's like there's this force sort of like pulling the puppet strings in what we do, what we feel, and therefore how we behave, because we're operating out of inner wounds, okay, and a lack of awareness in regards to how those inner wounds are manifesting themselves outwardly in terms of the emotional urges and just the behaviors that we're exhibiting. So the black moon is really an extremely powerful force, okay, an extremely powerful energy, you know, within the depths of our psyche. And when we have Venus and the black moon coming together, like I said, this is helping us to rebalance our own internal feminine energy, and it's kind of showing us where, especially in the sign of Leo, which is the heart also, where maybe our heart has been darkened, or, you know, where the wounds in our heart have caused us to attach to or to act out of these more shadow side tendencies existing within us. So this is actually a very healing dynamic to have playing out, especially when it happens to be occurring in an exact trine to Chiron, who rules our ability to heal ourselves and to overcome and to transmute our states of victimhood into states of self-mastery. And it has also a lot to do with these inner child wounding and you know, this unhealed trauma within us, but it's our journey to gain the wisdom that we need to heal these wounds, to overcome them, to transcend out of them. And again, like sort of in alignment with this transition to the age of Aquarius right now, to come to a place where we are essentially co-creating our experiences from the conscious plane, no longer simply manifesting our subconscious energy patterns and our karmic attachments, okay, as a result, you know, like I said, of this unhealed trauma. So very, very, very healing energy that we have going on this week on the soul level in regards to the past. Has a lot perhaps to do with home, family, inner child, and these unhealed wounds within us, where perhaps how, you know, we responded to whatever our initial original trauma happened has impacted what we've attracted into our lives and our relationships at this point in time, and maybe what we need to cleanse and clear from our energy body, from our emotional body, and from our physical reality right now, so that we can get back into alignment with these deeper levels of our heart, with these deeper levels of our soul, and start living and moving towards living this more fulfilling version of our experience of reality, and manifesting, you know, that which is seeking expression through us. We all have, you know, we all have a purpose. Like, we all have an energy that an aspect of, you know, universal force and power and creative potential that is seeking expression through us. And our job is to find that, okay, and is to activate that within us. And actually, as we do that, you guys, that is also how we play our role in making this transition of ages happen in a more material, manifest way in our 3D reality, in our 3D world. The more that we are tuning into ourselves, the more that we are going through this process of self-actualization, the more that we are being unencumbered, okay, by limiting beliefs about what we can and cannot do and who we can and cannot become, the more we are tapping into our own universal essence and power, the more we are starving out the machine of this past paradigm and this Pisces age that we are transitioning out of now. It exists, you know, and also as we leave this Pluto through Capricorn transit, a lot of the frameworks of this past paradigm that have become so corruptive and so detrimental to the organic and natural evolution of the human spirit. It is frustrating because a lot of times we look around right now and we see all these, you know, terrible evils just persisting and existing in the world, and it's like no matter what anyone does on, you know, the more like world stage type of situation, a lot of times it can seem like nothing's happening. But we need to keep in mind, okay, that this war has already been won. This is a very like long process, and the way that we can be more involved and feel more powerful in this process and less victims, okay, to this like perpetual situation that seems to be making no progress despite, you know, the hope that persists, and, you know, constantly feeling like those hopes are like dashed and it's going to be like a never-ending process and like evil is going to win and stuff like that. That's not actually the case. It's just that the projections, okay, of the past still are trying very hard to uphold that framework, but it's becoming very thin, okay? It's becoming very frail. And what it actually exists off of is our own is the life force of the collective, okay? Is our own mental energy and our projective and manifestation power. Like, that is what is used to sustain it. The less that we can rely on essentially like the constructs of society to sustain various areas of our lives and our sense of security in this reality, the more all of these like evil vampiric elements of this previous paradigm have nothing to feed off of, and therefore even the projection, okay, is going to start to crumble. And again, like, it might not on the surface look like anything is happening, but it is. And again, like, the best way, okay, that we can essentially work against the power structures and the paradigms of the past that seek to maintain their control as we move into this new paradigm is to become a frequency of the new paradigm and not a frequency of that previous paradigm. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's one reason why I'm so adamant on this channel about how we all need to activate our destiny and how we all need to heal our wounds and go through this Chiron-oriented hero's journey, and how we all need to go through this process of self-actualization, because that is the process that is tuning us, that is aligning our frequencies to this new age, to this new paradigm. And that in and of itself is what starves out the ability of the projection that is maintaining the paradigm of the past that seems like it will never go away despite its blatant and obvious like evil and corruption present in our world. Like, that is how we do it. When we're vibrating at the frequency that resonates to that paradigm, we are sustaining that paradigm. The more we focus on the evil and on the victimhood that it creates in terms of our perception of ourselves and our powerlessness to affect it, the more we are maintaining that projection, okay? The more that we acknowledge that that is operating, but remove our power from it, and instead turn our power inwardly towards ourselves and what we can create. And again, like, healing our wounds, going through this alchemical process, transmuting our own states of victimhood, releasing our fears, releasing, you know, the negative like feelings that come from unhealed wounds within us, and focusing our energy on being a vessel for the creative life force flowing through us that wants to create and that wants to expand and that wants to evolve. We're no longer supporting energetically that previous paradigm. And that's the best way. I mean, in a framework that is so inverted, okay, in so many ways across, you know, in such an expansive way, the most functional way to like fight back against that is to not resonate with it when we live in an energetic universe that is based on frequency. The more and more and more and more and more humanity shifts its frequency to align with the incoming age of Aquarius frequencies, these frequencies of self-actualization, self-mastery, and co-creation, and interrelation, like having a very strong relationship with our spiritual understanding and with like our potential for the future and with a higher knowing and stuff like that, conscious awakening. That other energy, like, it can't exist within that, you know what I mean? Like, the shadows can't exist in the light of the truth. So anyways, I wanted to say that as well, because it can be frustrating and it can be a situation if we are looking at things from a certain way where it can seem, you know, like there's just so much hope and then nothing happens, and then there's so much hope and then nothing happens, and then, like, you know, no matter how much we fight against something, it seems like nothing ever happens. It's because we're fighting in the wrong way and we're focusing on the wrong thing. And we really just need to get to focusing on ourselves and our own vibration and making our own world free and our own world productive and our own world sustaining and our own world beautiful. And through that process, we literally suffocate and dissolve the projection that is maintaining that previous paradigm. So there's that, okay? Considering, you know, we're talking about the age of Aquarius, this channel is not just about what's going on a daily basis, but also how what's going on a daily basis contributes to this multi-hundred-year process of transition of ages right now. But anyways, back to my notes. The overall themes, I'm going to read them to you what I wrote just to close out this report. much more feminine energy coming through this week, likely to be in our feelings, emotion-based energy, emotional release of these pent-up and suppressed feelings, which I've already talked all about, making spontaneous changes to distance ourselves from who we used to be, compelled to do what is in our best interest on a soul level, in terms of our heart as well. People acting strange, unexplainable behavior, a lot of people finally getting something off of their chest as well. This is, again, this gotta get it out type of energy. Could be the focus on the home and the family, also how to improve relationships or things going on within the home and family as well. Repressed feelings just flooding out, childhood, children, home, mother, hometown, childhood wounding, inner child trauma and healing, things we've been repressing or emotionally impacted by since childhood, childhood fears, childhood programming, self-limiting beliefs. All of these things could be prominent themes, or also breaking down in this energy, and also changes to our own sense perhaps of like our own inner critic or our own internalized self-judgment, what we do and don't believe is possible for ourselves. The inner authority could be going through some fundamental shifts and changes this week as well. Also helping us to release states of victimhood, like I just got done talking about, taking back our personal power, coming to the end of this karmic detox process, inspiring us creatively and helping us to reconnect to our heart center, our true joys, our true passions, our true interests. Because why, you guys? Universe needs us right now to re-embrace our inner child, to re-embrace our authentic passions, our authentic joys, what we really love, what we're really interested in, because those things are in direct alignment with our purpose. Activate our purpose, because that is the process of shifting our frequency. Well, that's a significant part of the process of shifting our frequency, and we have to all work on shifting our frequency right now, you guys, because that is what starves out, that is how we transition into this new energy that's coming in. So focus on finding, discovering, and learning about, also with Mercury entering the sign of Cancer this week, energetic shift happening on Tuesday, what feels good to us on that soul level. The sun in Cancer as well. I will tell you guys, this is, like I said, emotions are running the show this week. This is not, we've got Mercury and the sun coming together. We may be like missing a piece of information. There may be something that is a bit, that we're just not seeing the context of or something in the energy this week, but really the emotions, the feelings, these are kind of what is, again, just sort of like driving everything that is playing out in this energy. And how can we make our lives and our realities more oriented around what makes us feel alive? Also, what I feel like a lot of this is driving to, especially, of course, with that Mars-Uranus square going on and all of the Cancer energy. I mean, it really is, it's like universe is trying to break us out of any box right now that is like stealing our life, that is stealing our light, that is repressing our creative potential, that is keeping us trapped in like a dull and mundane world that is like not exciting or stimulating. So all of that, you guys. And again, you know, it really is the carrier pigeon delivering the message. It really is about listening to the call of our soul this week. We also have Saturn retrograde at 8 Pisces, a girl blowing a bugle, hearing the call of our soul and making real changes, especially on that emotional level, that honor that. Very intuitive week, strong psychic energy this week as well. Pay attention to intuitive insights, kind of like intuitive urges or hunches coming through, messages, gut feelings this week. Allow for the emotional release. We really want to go with the flow of things this week. If you go, we have a trine, a grand trine in water. This is not energy that is seeking to like shipwreck us, okay? Like this is energy that is seeking to like sweep us and carry us safely and nicely to our next destination. We even have the Earth on Monday at 5 degrees of Capricorn. That Sabian symbol is Indians, some rowing a canoe, others dancing a war dance in it. So, you know, we're going somewhere, you guys. What we're doing in the process of getting there might be a little bit different. Some of us might just be sort of more actively like oriented towards just moving forward, while some other people might be, you know, having to beating some war drums and like having to deal with some issues, okay, with the Mars-Uranus square going on as well. But regardless, like we are moving in a direction, and it's a direction towards the future. It's a direction towards authenticity. It's a direction towards truth. Okay, that's where we're heading. So we're going with the flow this week. We're trying to be adaptable. We're trying to have patience, especially when it comes to children and young people. We're allowing ourselves to feel and to release our emotions, especially if it's like old suppressed emotions that are coming up. This is part of a healing process, a tremendously healing energy going on this week as well. And this energy, like I said, is helping us to sort of like clear the past and really begin to orient ourselves towards who we're going to become and what we're going to create in alignment with this more consciously awakened version of ourselves that is birthing right now. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, in terms of the astrology. Should be sort of a different week. All right, let's talk about the tarot for just a minute. We also have interesting tarot cards that are coming through today. Again, like anywhere we've been lying to ourselves, you guys, or not wanting to see the truth, intentionally keeping ourselves blind to something so that, you know, we didn't have to walk away. It's like because like maybe acknowledging that truth would mean that something has come to the end, and maybe we've sort of been hiding from that. It's time to let something go. Again, even like tarot cards are saying it's time to let something go if we want to open ourselves up to that which will be of true, lasting, significant value to us. We've come to the end of a cycle in a lot of ways, you guys. You know, we've made it through a lot, and we've got to acknowledge the truth. Okay, the first cards that we had coming out are the King of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. This is like true value, true wealth, true abundance, done so in like a self-sustaining way based on like our own internal resources and stuff, like I said, and something that is solid and something that is like commitment oriented and that is like dedicated and it is long-term and stuff like that. After that though, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Four of Swords, like, but this is also a sort of stagnation. Like this is also like not wanting to let go of something, like sort of like pausing or procrastinating on something that we know that we should be doing, on something that we've been holding on to for a long period of time that we know we need to release. On the back of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse, followed by the World, followed by the Six of Cups in reverse. Like we've got a whole story going on on the back of the deck. Like I could literally just keep going with these cards, and it's very simple. Like it's literally boiling down to a lot of the same energy that is coming through in terms of the astrology. In order to truly align ourselves with our maximum level of creative potential and the ability to like lay that new foundation to carry significantly long to the future, we have got to come to a point where we are finally ready to release any faulty perception of ourselves or re-identify with. This is also like what it is we truly value, what it is we truly prioritize. Where has that vision been skewed, and has it been keeping us attached to cycles of the past that are trying to come to an end right now, that are trying to like restore a sense of balance within us that is leading us to an ability to cultivate this true value in our lives. It's like, what have we created based on a faulty version of ourselves perhaps that we have been embodying as a result of things from the past, childhood wounding, like all that type of stuff, and how has that led us to create a reality perhaps, or a world around us that is not truly suiting us, is not truly in alignment with us. You know, we have judgment, there's like this wake up call coming through, right? Saturn, the girl blowing the bugle, the moon in reverse, clearing things up for us, destroying the illusion. We've just got to start seeing ourselves more clearly, you guys. There's an element of that. Like we've got to stop procrastinating the need to end something, to release something, to walk away from something. And I do feel like actually that is what is being ignited, inspired, initiated with this Grand Trine and water energy that is coming through this week. So, you know, we've got the self-made woman, the Nine of Pentacles, we've got the King of Pentacles. Value, worth, abundance, commitment, dedication, legacy, self-empowerment. That is where we're moving. That is what we get. That is what we grow into and become once this cycle that is culminating right now finally comes to the end. But in order to do that, you know, we really got to be willing to face the truths about some things, is what the tarot cards are saying. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Let's grab one more card now. Let's grab a Synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe. There's one. It says, God's the boss. Who then is that faithful and wise steward? Luke 12:42. You must do your job joyously and faithfully in the knowledge that God is your boss. Your subconscious will then respond and promote you and remove obstacles to your success. Have a constructive vision. Be faithful to your vision. Show respect for authority, and you will be prospered along all lines. So, you know, there it is, you guys. We just need to move forward with the understanding and the adherence to the inner authority, like the authority within that is committed, rock solid in our faith, and dedicated to the pursuit of getting in alignment with our truth moving forward. Do your job joyously, faithfully, in the knowledge God is your boss. And then, of course, your subconscious mind, that which this is also, this karmic detox process has really like fundamentally also been a process of reprogramming the subconscious mind. Karmic detox, subconscious reprogramming, kind of synonymous in their meanings. Your subconscious will then respond and then promote you and remove obstacles to your success. So again, like this purge, this purification, this release that's going on right now is really helping us to come into a greater alignment with our potential and our ability to manifest that. That's what I'm going to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you for being here with me. If you guys did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think that they would love this type of information as well. Leave me comments. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your comments. If you're having experiences that are in alignment with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, I truly value and appreciate knowing what's going on with you guys, how these energies are hitting and affecting you. So thank you guys so much. I also have a Facebook page and a Facebook group where I post these whiteboards if you're interested in seeing a picture and getting to read what these whiteboards say. And I have an Instagram also. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me later this week, you guys. We are going to have another video out on Wednesday, and then I'm going to have, wrapping up this month of June, and then I'm going to have my July overview this weekend. How are we already at July? I feel like I literally just did the June overview, but we're here. So I will be back. You should come with me. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Have a beautiful day, you guys, and until next time, bye.